22nd. We're going to talk over this little slate. It's a 5-gamer. So not a crazy amount to go over. I have a very decided point of view of what I'm going to do. And there is the man. We'll say hello to Steve. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Just going through it right now, and I feel the same way I felt this morning, which I don't get to say too often in NBA about this slate. I like what I'm doing. I don't think I need to get overly creative to do what I want to do, and I'm sticking with my guns. 2 low-owned plays.
Which is what?
Playing Westbrook with a 4-man Laker stack with Kawhi or Paul George, and skipping Plumlee, but playing Precious and using one of either Hachimura or Christian Wood, mostly Hachimura, obviously. But I'm basically I have Reeves, Russell, Westbrook a ton. Where I'm pivoting, I'm playing Dinwiddie, Sexton, the more chalky ones. But I do like the Westbrook play at low ownership because of the other guys in his price range who rate similarly. I like Walker Kessler as a pivot, a little bit of a spend up again, as opposed to the play, the Plumlee play, just because of ownership. So those are my 2 big differentiators right now. Are mostly Kessler and Kessler and Westbrook.
Well, let's go game by game again for just a minute. You getting anything from again, I'm just pulling out the projections now and listening to a little content. You like TJ McConnell? I'm getting a lot of people talking about that a little bit. I wasn't planning on it. But.
It just feels weird when you already have Dinwiddie, who's scored over 30 in 3 straight games. You've got Westbrook, who I like. You've got Sexton at 6,200, which is too cheap probably for his current role. You've got obviously Russell and Reeves at 58 and 6,500 without LeBron. It just, if you're going to play them, it just feels like you have to fade all those guys or some of those guys. And I just like those guys better, is basically the way I see it.
Yeah. Another take I want to run past you. It seemed sharp enough, because it's like more of a basketball thing, that the Nets don't have that, but that much size really, and so if the Knicks didn't want to, they really wouldn't have to go with too much Precious. They could go small and play decent minutes with Randall at the 5, or maybe even Anunoby. So maybe the Precious play isn't as much of a basketball related, certainty. Did you think about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not really true that they can always play Randall at the 5. We talk about it all the time. It's happened since Tibbs was there, and we say it, and then we see the results. It basically never happens.
Okay.
It probably will happen for 10 minutes or so tonight, but I think you're going to see some of Sims out there. No, you'll probably have Randall will probably play for 10 minutes. Maybe you have Anunoby for a few, so maybe 12 to 14. But I still think you're looking at 20 plus, and probably with a lot of upside on that for Precious. So I do like the Precious play a little bit more, and it's mostly because I really just feel like Precious is a Tibbs type of guy, and it was his former team, so whatever. But the other day, trending in the right direction in this current situation without both Hartenstein and I can only go based on the limited sample size that we just saw. So
yeah,
But I don't think you have to do it. Certainly, it's going to have some ownership. But I don't think it's it's a must. For me, I'm doing it, but I don't think you have to.
And Portland, OKC, just kind of running through it again. So, do we have questionable stuff with Portland, or no?
No.
Okay. Is Brogdon playing?
As of right now, Brogdon and Simon. Yeah, I think the only thing you really have from this game that's a viable. I guess you've got Jeremy Grant going back to OKC if you want to do something funny.
No, I don't care too much about that. But if all those guys are in, it just makes it a little more likely that it stays reasonably close or closer.
Yeah, they just lost by 62 to them, but yes, and they had one guy out for that one. But still, I think Simons is your only the only tournament play that I really like in that game. I just am not getting to the Williams Chet with just the other options I have today. But I totally think that Williams, Chet, and Shea are all good plays. I just like my build better without them.
Yeah, makes sense. And going back to the Utah, New Orleans, I'm running stuff down. I'm still getting some of this, some of those Portland mid-range, New Orleans mid-range guys like Zion and CJ McConnell,
Mhm.
Sexton, and not getting really any Lowry anymore. But again, depends how many lineups you're playing. But
Wait, Lowry, what do you mean?
Lowry Markkinen?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, because Kyle Lowry was traded today, so
Yeah.
so confusing. Yeah. I'm good with all those. I have some of my secondary builds with some of the Lowry, and I like Brandon Ingram. I like Zion just fine. I just found that I thought the guards were really strong. That I think it's really unlikely. I mean, both Russell and Reeves are basically like plugging in from at least playing one and usually playing two, and that already takes up two guard spots. And then you have, Westbrook, who I like, Sexton and Dinwiddie, who are also good plays as well. And then sort of in the same Westbrook type of upside mode, you have Cam Thomas. There's just a lot of guards that I like. So I didn't spend up for these 10K guys because of it. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I prefer the builds with Davis as my spend up. You could make a case for Jamal Murray in that first game and for Jokic, but I personally am on the side of the later games, especially the Lakers and Clippers.
Yeah, makes sense. And Westbrook. Okay, so you said Westbrook's your favorite Clipper. Did you give any more thought to Plumlee?
Well, so Plumlee, I think, is I actually still am surprised that he's still going to have ownership, but he's not going to be as high owned as I thought. I think he's fine. I think the Kessler play is probably a reach. Projections would hate this play, this Walker Kessler idea, but I'm going to go with some recent trends and when they've played bigger teams that he just played 32 minutes against a bigger team in Houston, that you can maybe get a ceiling type of thing out of him in this matchup because of Zion and Valanciunas' size. So I'm playing a little bit weird and spending up for that spot. That's just where I'm at the moment. But I am playing some Plumlee. I just have more Precious and more Kessler.
And this is the question that everybody's going to ask you, or at least somebody's going to ask you, is how many Lakers is too many if there is such a thing.
I think that 5 would be too many for me. I think I have 4 as my number.
Okay.
Even 5, you're probably okay if you have a run back or two.
So, but you'd recommend maybe having a run back if.
Yeah. I'm a little wary of the fact that I'm playing as much Kawhi and Paul George. I think there's some volatility to both those plays. So maybe I do a little bit of a different thing and I do a 2v2 for Leonard and Kessler versus that, because I'm pretty fixed on Davis, one of Reeves or Hachimura, preferably Hachimura, Russell and Reeves. And that means I want to run back and I like Westbrook. So I like Precious and I've sort of narrowed my build. You know what I mean? I don't really have a whole lot of other decisions to make. That's all that I'm running into currently.
Now, when we talked about what's his name, Westbrook before, like a couple of slates ago, part of the thesis was that he could be part of a program to go small. You know what I mean? Like if they're playing a team that allowed that. So I guess it makes sense because the Lakers, with the exception of Davis, right? Like they don't have that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That it lays out from a basketball perspective, such that Westbrook could play like 30 minutes maybe.
Right. Yeah. So in the 3 games without Zubac, Westbrook has played 22, 29, and 31 minutes. Okay. Those are all up from low teens without Zubac. So they obviously are playing him more. So It's trending in the right direction. Now, in 2 of the 3 games without Zubac, he's put up 46 in 46. I don't need to.
I'll take that.
Upside. Right. I take it too. The fact that he's going to end up like 5% owned just makes me want to play him more.
Right.
Because and also on top of it, even if those Lakers get there, you could still have them sort of pulling away with the second unit and the starters may not be like the Kawhis and whatever may not come back on the court. There's an outside chance they get blown out here. The Clippers have been pretty dominant. The Lakers don't have LeBron and the Clippers are angry and they've lost twice to the Lakers this year. It could be one of those blowout games. And it's a little extra edge for Westbrook, I think, too.
Do you like any Jamal Murray tonight or just like whatever?
I do like him. I just said it. He's one of the guys who I just didn't get to because of the way I'm building. like with the 5,800 and 6K and all the 6,200 guys, all that stuff. But and Russell, if literally like there was, if I could play him at small forward or something like that, I would have probably a ton of him. You know what I mean? But I just can't. Those guards positions are valuable. I think so.
It was kind of interesting, kind of a stat I heard on like another show or whatever, that the Indiana is actually really good against the 3-point shot. I didn't know that. That sort of affects Murray a little bit. But
it's hard to take Indiana season stats when they're not playing with Halliburton, though. It's
right.
Tricky.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they have Siakam now, just a different group of characters.
That's true. And Siakam's there as well.
No Bruce Brown, who's like literally the best closeout 3-point guy in basketball, but so
that makes sense then. Okay.
This used to be my big issue with some of the NBA stuff, because other people will talk about content and use season-long stats, which is understandable, except for your team is totally different right now.
Right.
The main guys who are going to play most of the minutes have nothing to do with any of those things that you just talked about.
Right.
Sometimes it's a thing for teams do, but in Milwaukee's case, it doesn't matter who's on the court. They're going to play drop coverage, or at least who knows now with a new coach, but they're going to do the same thing, and they're going to allow a bunch of threes, and they're not going to let you beat them inside. But mostly it's usually different with different players. People keep bringing up Taurean Prince. I just want to say I'm totally fine with Taurean Prince. I just like the upside of the other players a little bit better, but I'm totally fine if you want to play Prince instead of Rui. Or even in addition to it, I don't think I'd play 5 Lakers without a run back. That just feels like you're really kind of asking for too much.
Yeah, well, you're playing a run back anyway.
Yeah. So but I still didn't even get quite there.
That makes sense. Still getting back to these Utah guys a little bit. The Fontecchio, Colin Sexton, even some Clarkson.
Yeah, I have and look, he's gonna make. I can just feel as I'm about to say it. My rules are very simple with how I treat the Sexton and what's it called thing. I always pick Sexton on the road, and I always play Clarkson at home.
Really,
Clarkson has just insanely drastic splits for basically forever, but especially this season. Sexton is better at home too, but. You look at the last. I mean, he's trending more in the right direction. He played like a season high of minutes the last game. He's put up 42 or better 3 in a row. So I'm more on the Sexton side tonight than Clarkson. Now, it literally with the Jazz though, it could really just flip in one day. Like there's no reason. And actually, Clarkson put up 56 in the last game, so it wasn't like I believe it was an overtime game, but still. So like both of them can get there. It's just I'm more on the Sexton side slightly than Clarkson.
Yeah, like looking at this McConnell thing again. Problem is, I mean, they have like a million guys, don't they? And he got sort of benched in his last game, right?
That was when Halliburton came back for a minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say McConnell versus the other guys. I'll just take the sure minutes. I'm totally fine with the McConnell play, but I think he's gonna end up higher owned like that.
I think you're right
about it. I just like why aren't we just playing Dinwiddie or one of the 58, whether it's Cam Thomas or Russell Westbrook. I just think those guys are just better plays. But McConnell will occasionally just have that monster game. If they announce McConnell starting, you could throw out what I said. Then he is in that same conversation. But we have no reason to think that they'll do that because they haven't done that yet. All right, so let's see. There's a bunch of people asking about things in there. Dwayne, I like what Dwayne says so far. Yeah. Hart is. Hart might be the one who gets more time than Price. That's true, but Hart is not a bad play either. By the way, I actually thought of him like right when I thought of Precious earlier today because of the lack of Hartenstein, but still going to err on the Precious. We also can see who starts. By the way, it's most likely going to be Sims, but we don't know that. Could be if Precious starts, play him.
Yes.
I'm going to play him if he doesn't.
That is true.
So I'm definitely playing him if he starts. I'm trying to read some of these other things. So Clay's asking about FanDuel stacks. 3-2 I think is fine. I like the 3-1 a little bit better than the 3-2 for the Lakers, but I'm totally fine with the 3-2 for FanDuel. And I'm not going to tell everybody to play Westbrook and everything. I'm just saying I'm playing a lot of Westbrook. I totally get it. There's a lot of other really good plays in that price range that I don't think you have to play them. Chris
Dunn was questionable. Just throwing this out there.
Yeah.
Not going to really be too much of a needle mover, I don't think. But I'm getting the sum of him in some MME lineups.
Yeah, I think he's actually like a reasonable play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with Utah with those minutes. All these guys are going to play, and then we don't even know who's going to close for them because they don't usually.
Right.
I agree with Brendan about Christian Wood. No one's going to play Christian Wood. That's a really interesting way to get different as a Laker for the Lakers. I think his projection is actually he's projected to be higher owned than I think he will be. But I actually don't know. I guess if anything. He actually may end up with a little more ownership than I thought.
I did another, I'll look at this again tomorrow. I did another golf run for ownership and stuff. And I think Zalatoris is going to be too popular. I mean, unless you pair him with other guys.
Yeah.
I think Minwoo Lee is going to be pretty popular too.
Yeah. Just throw the last game out. I just want to say this really quickly. Throw the last game out because you're saying about McConnell starting. It's very different when you're playing the last game was the one in Phoenix. Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird situation. I actually don't know exactly what happened because I heard it. I heard people complaining on Twitter. I read him complaining on Twitter. But I didn't actually keep track of them. I did keep track of them.
I definitely heard people complaining about something.
But I am not playing him anyway right now, so that's why I'm not. Either of you getting to Shea or there's better non-blub. I just don't find the Shea play to be for me. I just like the other guards too much. Again, don't think he's a bad play. The one I'm really kind of annoyed with is you know what? Maybe that's what I shift my lineup around to.
What?
I'd really like to play Randall instead of Kawhi, but the positions I was playing doesn't allow me to do that.
Julius Randle?
Yeah, I love Julius Randle tonight.
I think he's a good play.
And I need that. I just feel like the Kawhi thing could go wrong in so many ways. I think I'd rather do this. But it is weird to play Randall with Precious to me a little bit, and that's what I'm looking at right now. Whether I want.
Yeah, that is a weird combination.
Yeah, they just technically take away from everything on the same court. So, got to figure that one out. If you play Rui, yeah, I'm stuck on this 5K price point. I think I'm just gonna say F it and play the Kessler thing.
Wow, that's a hell of a play, huh?
It just makes enough sense. It's a good matchup for him because of the fact that I think that they'll do the size thing again.
Dude, if you get any extra minutes out of him, I mean that's going to be a big score.
Yeah. I think so. It's been a weird this Precious thing. I'm second guessing my whole build now because I really want the Julius Randle. And I don't want to do it with Precious. It just doesn't make enough sense. All right. I guess I could play Josh Hart. Even that one takes away from Randle too, I guess. Randle. How about that? How about what? Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I just have to play Plumlee instead of Precious.
What?
I just have to play Plumlee instead of Precious. And then I still am doing the Kessler thing. I'm doing it, man. Hey, you were the one, you touted it, and you actually would have been right that night too. But you said it one night where it was like a 12-game slate or something.
Yeah, and I went for it.
He wasn't even starting, I don't think. He had
I
like
thought,
48.
I thought that they were going to let him, just get up to 30 minutes somehow. He's a good
Yeah.
player. I mean,
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you, Cam. I think that's the right thing. I mean, it's just I'm not saying McConnell can't have a huge night, but I'd rather not try to overthink this. I like what I was doing already. I'm going to stick with the other way. And if for any reason there's any late news, I can change anything because I've got all like 6 of my guys are in the last game.
right.
I really like that Ingram play, by the way, today, though, too. I think that if I had to be, I think there was a gun to my head. Like, I think the obvious one is Zion, and Ingram is the one I'm going to bet on to have the monster game here, if there was one of them. I still think Randall. Like, I'm still going up with my whatever my other spends, other than Davis. I do have Davis in like every single lineup, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I'm kind of light on him, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, just in MME stuff. I mean, just to be funky.
Yeah. I think Harden is it's a totally reasonable. I think one of Harden, Kawhi, or Paul George probably has the game. I think you're guessing a little bit to try and figure out who that one is. I like Kawhi slightly the best, but Harden is right there. I don't think there's a big difference. I just don't like the position. I think the guard position is just really strong. Oh, that's funny. Oh, shoot. I didn't see that one. All right. Let's see. OG good 5K. I don't know what that one means.
Is he a good 5K guy?
He can't be 5K. Did I miss something?
There's no way. At least he could be.
He's 58. I mean, he's a totally good.
That's not bad.
No, it's a totally good play. He's a great real life player. You know, he's the best rating in basketball who's played 200 minutes together this season with anybody, and it's by a lot. It's by an astronomical margin. Wow. It's OG and Brunson.
Really?
Yep. That's it, including every possible pairing in the NBA. There's over 1,000 of them, and they're plus 27 per 100 possessions.
Maybe the Knicks are onto something.
I think they are. They're not going to get that Mitchell thing this year, though, because that team is too hot now. They've won 8.
What do you think of that? What do you think of the Bucks stuff?
The Bucks. Oh, I thought it was a great play. Great. I'm sorry. I thought the Miami trade was great. I was sort of surprised the Bucks gave up after not really letting the coach do his thing, but I never understood why he was their next hire, other than that they kind of liked him. I really didn't think it was that logical. I also don't think I love Doc Rivers. I think he's a good analyst and stuff, and he comes on the Ringer shows, and I listen to him every week. But I'm sure he'll be the coach now. I don't necessarily think Doc Rivers is like the answer to playoff success. So.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you thought of the Doc Rivers?
Did they announce it yet?
No, but it seems to be the buzz.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, though, that no matter what happens, I don't think it matters who. No matter what they're going to contend in some way this year, it's just I don't know.
And who did he get? They got somebody good, right? They got
they got Rozier.
You like that?
I love Rozier for them.
Perfect. You like that for the Heat?
He's a defender too. He is. He's like a tough defender. That's what he was in Boston.
Yeah. Okay.
He's and
I think they know what they're doing over there. I'm not questioning them. You know, it's like
like he's the kind of guy I could see like
not the salary thing for Charlotte to do that, right? I mean,
was that
must have been some obvious.
They got the first round pick next year.
Oh, okay.
In 2027. People were like, "Oh, I can't believe this trade. Look how how do they fleece him like this?" I'm like, they got a 2027 first round pick. What do you think the going rate for Terry Rozier is? A first round pick is a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
In basketball, in football, it would have been like you get like a 4th rounder and the guys are all excited.
Right.
The quarterback, you know,
right.
Nobody wants anything.
Right.
All right.
Well, tomorrow we're going to win the 2,500, so that's good.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I already built a lineup.
I didn't check. Let's see what it looks like. Hold on. Let's want to look ahead here just for fun?
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to know who's going to even be playing, obviously, but
we'll figure it out. Hold on. It shouldn't be a problem. We don't know who's going to play in 5 minutes. We're going to figure out who's going to play tomorrow. Let's see.
Right.
Let's see. Let me share my screen. We'll prep for this.
You got it. Yeah.
Let's see. I got the ticket, which I'm really looking forward to using. All right, so Minnesota, Washington, Charlotte, Detroit. Oh my God, what kind of game is that? Memphis, Miami. So you think there's no way that he's there at Miami already, right?
I'd be shocked. So
Cleveland,
there'll be some
Milwaukee, first time new coach, Milwaukee.
So who's the value in my? So whoever. So I guess Caleb Martin probably gets a bump because he'll get extra minutes.
Is Trae Young traded yet?
No. Not yet.
He was not. Well, most important is that there's a 9:30 and a 10 o'clock game, which means that we're going to be 11 o'clock. We're going to be sweating something.
Dude, I'll tell you what I want to start doing. I want to go back to what we used to do and just play the teams that are playing San Antonio, because there's fantasy everywhere in those San Antonio games, not just Embiid's game last night. Like it's pretty wild.
Well, this is Chet versus Wembanyama. This is something.
Yeah.
This could be a Chet game.
It's another reason why I bet OKC to win by 13.5 or more tonight. They have a back-to-back against that Spurs game. They want to get this thing over with as fast as possible.
Oh, I see. Wait, so if Rozier's going to be gone, at least they priced LaMelo up. If they didn't price him up, it would have been he's probably still a freaking lock at 9,600.
It just depends. That's like they finally gave him the minutes the other day, right? Like he played.
Yeah, now there's no Rozier.
Yeah, in that tough game, and yeah.
Is Cunningham threatening to be back? Yeah, he's probable. He's back.
He's pretty cheap.
He is cheap. Cunningham, LaMelo, and then hope nobody beats you.
Cunningham, yeah.
Memphis, Miami, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Portland, Houston. That's another freaking shit show. Oh, this is Luka against somebody if he plays. Oh my God, they're both questionable. So Luka's again has lower back problems, and Irving with the thumb. Both sound made up, but whatever.
So it's either going to be Jaden Hardy night or not, huh? It either is going to be all Jaden Hardy or no Jaden. They should just leave Jaden Hardy though priced at like 5,500. So it's
I agree with that. All right. I guess we shouldn't talk about tomorrow too much more.
No, it's all right. We can talk about that. I'm happy to talk more, guys. If there's anything today to talk about for NBA, I don't have a lot more to offer than.
Let me see what else is going on tomorrow. So Golden State, Atlanta, nobody's really out. Atlanta, DeAndre Hunter, San Antonio, OKC, Minnesota, Washington. I mean, this is who's gonna? Oh, Conley's gonna be back in probably, right?
Yeah.
So they're all gonna be in. Play anybody from Washington as Minnesota's kind of asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Kuzma's 8K.
Scott's asking for thoughts on Chet tonight. My thought is if I ended up there, I would have been very happy and fine with it. I just did not lead my builds didn't lead me there, but I think it's fine. Again, I agree about the back-to-back. I think he's going to dominate this season. They're going to dominate this Portland team. I think he's ready for tomorrow.
Well, look at this Houston business. So Van Vliet, questionable but in. Jalen Green missed practice. Jabari Smith is expected to play. Okay, so they'll figure this out. Okay. Tari Eason.
That's a good question from this judge. Like, any thoughts on MPJ or Gordon? Would you play Healed over both? I actually like all of those plays that you just mentioned. I didn't get to them, but like Healed was right there for me at 58. I think it's a great environment for Aaron Gordon, but I think Porter, if you want to go for upside, if he just put up 50 against these guys the other day, it's the kind of matchup you can say whatever about 3-point shooting or whatever. Again, I can't trust the overall numbers because it's a different team. So I like the idea of all of those. If I had to rank them, though, I think Porter's like the kind of guy you could help you win a tournament the most. And maybe Healed. I think he and Healed I lean a little bit more. I like Aaron Gordon, but even when he has a strong game, it's often in that 35 fantasy point range, which is nice. But there are other plays that I think those other ones have like 50 plus upside.
We don't have starters with Indiana yet, I presume.
I don't have any starters yet.
Yeah. I mean, they have. I guess McConnell expected to start if he's got this kind of projection.
I don't think so.
No?
His projection rose at some, and I couldn't figure out what was making it rise at like literally like in the last hour. Yeah, it went from like 26 to like 30.
You like healed? Oh, you mean we healed a little bit? Niemhart. No. Toppin. No. Ben Shepard. They got a lot of guys here.
Yeah. And Matherin is another one that's like you could literally just I think like just one of those guys like you could always just take a dart on because it's so hard to know when it's coming. I can't figure it out.
Here, just to show you again, I'll do one just again for more for process. Let's build a we're gonna do a sim on DraftKings here.
Mm-hmm.
And what we'll do is just for fun, we'll just use the Saber Sim projections. Let's just use those. We'll change a couple of things just to make things a little different. And let's just see what we would come up with if we build 50. Now, again, we don't have starters or anything like that, but this is, what I would probably do. Now, again, the late game is good for multiple reasons, right? I mean, number one, it's a good, the Lakers are great value, and second of all, it's late. So you can screw around if you have to.
Right.
I'd rather not have to.
Right. Same.
But you could swap like if you want something really, really dumb. Hang on, let me just make sure he's on that team. So if you have like Rui Hachimura in like the utility or something like that, and you need something different, you could go really weird and play like Terrence Mann or something like that. It's not the greatest, but
yeah, that's true.
But he has 20 fantasy points in his last 2 games. I mean, all right. So this is what we would get here. Is what is this? What's he talking about? Yeah, so I'd be getting 5 Lakers. Let's do we're going to run the contest simulation for the 50.
Wayne, I don't think about SGA in terms of like, is he a fate? Like, it's just, he's fine. I'm not building with any of him. So I have 0 SGA for what it's worth. It's a great matchup. They all can go nuts. They all did the last time and they only got to play half.
All right. So let's see. So I ran the sim and let's just see what we would get. Actually, I only did it for the Mega 8. So let's do it again for the fadeaway. Sorry about that.
I might get out of here in just a minute because I got to run.
All right, yeah. Let me just finish this so I can show people. So this is what it would look like. We would do search for fadeaway, risk adjusted ROI. And what we would be getting, it looks like, no matter how you do it, you're getting all this Lakers. I mean, it just doesn't. The only thing is this TJ McConnell thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to give if you're going to give him a 30-point projection, he's going to be in 50% of your lineups. Just the way it is. So you got to figure that out if you want to rely on that or not. But the other guys like Taurean Prince, Christian
Dinwiddie has a 30-point projection.
Yeah, he does, and I'd be getting like 20% of him as well.
Yeah, or just about 30, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, isn't he going to be lower owned than McConnell?
Yeah, if McConnell doesn't start, then McConnell will probably. Well, I don't know. All the projections have him lower owned, but all I've heard is McConnell talks about. I've heard nobody say it.
Too. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Absolutely, Scott. I agree. Sometimes these are more fun to just talk about sort of theory and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could also do other things like if you're playing the later game and like somebody in the first game, like let's just use a price point. Like let's say Jokic gets 95 tonight. Maybe you want to balance out, your Lakers and Clippers, and maybe you skip Davis and decide to play one of play George and Harden on the other side and play Russell and Reeves instead.
It's not a bad idea.
Because that way, at least you're differentiating that top tier. That's sort of what I was saying the other day when, you get a tight end who scores 30 in the first game of the slate. It's really hard to if that, whatever that tight end's price is, if it's like 4K, if it's 4K, if 4,500, whatever, you want to avoid that price tier for any tight ends or anybody using your utility if you don't have that tight end, in my opinion.
All right, I'm going to get rolling. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.